Welcome everybody to this webinar. My name is Francesco, and I really wish you a very warm welcome to this CMDBuild 3.1 version webinar. During this webinar, we will go through the new features that we developed in CMDBuild 3.1. Then, of course, I will show you something live from the tool. And then we will come back here and I will just present, I will give you just a quick overview of the new features of the new OpenMaint 2.0 and CMDBuild Ready to Use 2.0. Just as always, you will have a great opportunity at the end of this webinar to ask all the questions you want to our technical team, which will be very happy to answer them all. Please make sure you don't ask them just at the end of the webinar, but do it even during the webinar. So even while I speak, even while I show you the live demo of CMDBuild 3.1, feel absolutely free in the chat pod. Just write down your questions, and we will get to them at the very end of this webinar. So it's really a good opportunity you have. Please take it. Okay, so CMDBuild 3.1. I just told you we will start off with a presentation of CMDBuild 3.1. We will then get my hands on the keyboard and the mouse, and then we will go through the new features of the CMDBuild. Then we will talk a little bit about CMDBuild Ready to Use 2.0 and OpenMaint 2.0. Make sure that you follow us, because we will have two webinars specifically on the new features of CMDB Ready to Use 2.0 and OpenMaint 2.0. This will happen at the end of the summer, so make sure you have you relax, you have some good holidays, and then you're focused and connected with our newsletter on our social channels in order not to miss these two webinars. And just as I told you, the Q&A session at the end of the webinar. Okay, so, well, one new feature of CMDBuild 3.1 that will show you, of course, just a few minutes, is the import and export of CSV and Excel files. So this is a new feature that we developed. We really worked hard on it because it was something that it was a big need from a lot of users of CMDBuild. Now you can import in a merge mode. Straight from your CSV or Excel files, and you will have all the data inside your CMDBuild database. So you can also import both classes and domain. The import it will just work the same way for the export. So the import and export will be guided by the templates that can be configured from the administration model. It's extremely easy to do that. We will do that in just a few minutes. It will take us probably 30 seconds, no more than that. You will see it's really easy to do that. One other very interesting thing we did was that both the import and the exports can be performed in batch. So you can just select any time of the day, of the week, of the year, whatever the month, and then you can schedule the importing or the exporting of the files. Interesting, very interesting also, that at the end of the import, you will see this, you are able to get a report. You will actually get a report of the importing, and this report can be sent automatically via email as an attachment to whatever recipient you specified in the template. So this is something, yeah, we will just see in a few minutes. So just let me just go through all the features that we will see, and then you will actually also see them. So talking about the graphical user interface, you can now display GIS thematism. So on the map, you can display, for example, with a thematism. So, for example, with different colors, specific attributes, and have a really quick view of without having to go through all the cards. You can have a really quick view of how your elements are distributed in a map, for example. Also, you can display the relationships and the attached files as an additional field set in the main data card without having to go into the specific label on the left. You can have a really quick view on the data card of these two new elements, the relationships and the files that are attached to a specific card. We will see that we just for the demo purpose, we attached the CV of the curriculum vitae of a employee, and it will just show in the main data card. So another element always related to the graphical user interface is the extension of the showIf function, which basically means that according to an attribute, to a value, another attribute can be is displayed in a data card. So we will see that changing specific value, this will affect the show if, or of course don't show if attributes. So another interesting element, quite connected to the previous one, is the auto filling, which we wrote a specific JavaScript code for the automatic filling of a specific attribute based on the value of other attributes. We will see that it's pretty easy to see. In that case, we did something. It was the end of the contract of a specific employee, and this, by selecting end of the contract, the JavaScript code would automatically fill out the other attributes, saying that the end of the contract was today. So we'll put the date of today. You will see that. I will show you in a few minutes. It's really good that James has already asked a question. Please don't forget that we will gather now all the questions while I speak, and then we will get to them at the very end of the webinar. So just be patient for a few minutes, just the time to get to the end of the webinar. I promise we will answer all the questions. Okay, so another element that we develop is concerns the administration module. So there's a custom components that we developed specifically for creating QR codes, of course, related to specific elements of the database. Also, we did when we enhanced the recovery of the process of the startup task in the task manager from the administration module. And now you can also upload the logo of the company on the top of the left of the screen, where you will have, of course, the logo of CMDBuild ready to use, and then you can easily upload your own logo. And next to it, you can also have a label saying on which instance you are working on, if it's a productive, or if it's just a demo, or if it's just a test instance. Okay, so just let me say donk. I hope it's pronounced it right. It's thank you in Danish, which is one of the new language now that we translated CMDBuild into, as well as Norwegian. So these two languages are the new. They just arrived. Please let me thank you in English and in Italian. Grazie to all the translators that work hard for keeping the translations up to date. Most of the 27 languages that CMDBuild is now available in are also for the CMDBuild 3.1, and same goes for OpenMain and CMDBuild Ready to Use 2.0. We really try to keep the languages up to date and follow all the new elements that we configure, because we really want to let everyone around the globe to be able to use our tools. Okay, well, I think this is it for just for me standing here talking. Let me just go to my computer and get my hands on the keyboard and the mouse, and we'll talk from there. Okay, so here we are. Let's log in into the CMDBuild 3.1 just to show you some of the new features that we implemented. Well, some are not really new features, just a strong enhancement of features that already existed in the previous versions of CMDBuild. One of these is, well, before going to the features, just a small thing about the interface. Here you see our logo, the Tecnoteca logo, and a small label next to it. This is because from this version on, you can upload your own logo, so logo of your company or whatever you want, and then just a small label next to it to remind you on which version of CMDBuild you're working on, like the test environment or productive use CMDBuild. All right, so the first feature I want to show you is about the import and export new functionalities, which have been strongly enhanced comparing to the previous versions, the version 2.5. This is really a helpful new feature. I will now show you how it works. Okay, basically now we'll just go on. I am of course on the data page. So going onto the client software, for example, so in the workplaces, I'm going to client software, and if I click on the button here, you will see that now I have the import data and export data features. Of course, this doesn't happen for example, for mobiles, as the two features have not been enabled like for the mobile. This is just for the demo purpose, just to show you. Of course, you can enable them for any class you want. Okay, so this is again going here. Let's see, for example, the export data first. Okay, so I uploaded already a template, which in this case either import or export the client software. So I can just quickly export all the data, and the output format, just because the template is configured this way, will be a CSV file. See, well, here there's not a lot of data because this is just a demo version of CMDBuild, but of course you will have all of your data right here exported into a CSV file, which of course you can open it with Excel or any other software. It's really easy to read format. Okay, so this is for the client software, the export data of the client software. If I want to instead, if I want to import, I can go, for example, if I want, let's say I want to import new licenses of the software I have. I will just go again on this on the button here, and where I have enabled just the import data, not the export, so the export is not available. I will choose the template. In this case, this is the only one I have, and I will upload my template, my data, sorry. This is the data I have, which are, you see, are saved into a XLS file. So it is an Excel file, of course. And here you got the template definition. So before uploading the data, just to make sure that the data that the template will, that the tool will be reading, the importing will be reading just to make sure that it will properly read the data, you have the template definition right here. You have the import key each attribute, so the serial number will be the key attribute for the importing, and this, the no delete, this is what the tool will do in case of missing records. So in this case, if there's a missing record, it won't delete them. If we will see that later, that you can also select other features here. You can select, you can make the tool delete them or modify the card according to the missing records. Really important to say that this import will do a merge of the elements, so it will not just cover the previous ones, but it will merge the new ones with the previous ones. So if they already exist, they won't be duplicated. They will be just, again, of course, merge. We will also see in a few minutes how this can be done in a batch mode, so in an automatic mode. This I'm doing this manually. I will now just import the elements. Of course, we created a file for a fake file just for the demo where we put some errors as well. In this case, I have here listed all the errors of the, so on the record number and line number of the file and the what kind of error. Of course, here you can download the report as well as send it. This sends the report to an email which is configured in the template of the for importing, and this will automatically send the report as an attachment to the email that you listed, that you inserted into your template again. So very easy to import data, and also very convenient, as you can use the new Excel format or the CSV. So now I would like to show you how to configure. So now we have to go to the administration module, of course. So now I will go into import exports. Right here you got the templates. So if I go on the template that we just used, I will see that if it is configured for CSV file format. If you remember, we just saw we just saw that the CSV was the file that was we downloaded, was a CSV file. Of course, there's a separator, the comma separator. If I modify it, of course I can change, as I was telling you, in the file format for the CSV or the new Excel file. I can use others separate. Interesting to see that if I, for example, choose the Excel, I need to also select from which row, and the tool will start importing, so we'll start reading my file. This is because sometimes you might want to just leave the first row empty, blank, so you need to tell them to start from the second one. Extremely easy also to add new attributes to your template. So if you want, for example, to whatever the room, you want to import also the attribute room. You need to just select the mode, which could be the code, the description, or default, and just clicking plus, you add your new attribute. So extremely easy. And this was about something I was telling you just a few minutes before about what to do. Well, the import key attribute. So you can of course choose it. If you remember, right, it was code, but of course you can choose anyone you want. And also you need to specify what the tool will do in case of missing records. So should it delete it, not delete, or modify the cards. And this is about the template for the notification of the report for you might want to send it to. Okay, so this is about it for the template. So again, very easy. Really no. I think there's no need of further explanation for this. Just now, another one last thing, the task. If you go on Task Manager, Import Export, you will see that you can, for example, for the import file, you remember this is the import software licenses. This is the template that we just used a few minutes ago for importing the Excel file. Here I can click on single execution, so that this play button here that will perform a single execution, or you can start what? Well, start the batch importing of in this case of the software licenses. So here this is all the file pattern and everything else. So you can select if you wanted to do the automatic import, if you want to set it every hour, every day, month, year, or advanced in this case, on which day of the week you want it to to automatically perform the task. So once you set all those the configuration, you can just click on the play button, on the start button, sorry, and it is a play button, but on the start button, and it will start importing every day, month, year, whatever, hour, minutes, whatever you just selected. Okay, so well, this was for the data import and export functionality. So let's move on to another interesting feature, which lets us show directly in a data card from you can show the attachments and the relations of the straight in a quicker way, straight in a data card. So let me show you something just to be more clear. So I would go on internal employee, for example. Let's click on the first one here, and then I will open the card, and then you see that of course you got the general and the administrative data, and you got the attachments here, which is not collapsed. It's already open when the first time you see it. In this case, well, we just uploaded a curriculum vitae, and also the relations that the Mr. Aaron Anderson has with the other elements in the database, of course. So this again is something you see it. Of course, you would see it here as well, with a more detailed way. Same with the attachment, the curriculum vitae. But really interesting is to have just in with a quick glance, just to see them all straight here in the general, in the first card, in the first page of the card that it opens if you click on the two arrows. So quicker to have access to some of this information. Okay, so of course here I will show you also the other side of the word, the admin interface. So I will just let me go on classes, standard employee here, and of course was an internal employee, Mr. Aaron Anderson, and I will show you that there's the inline attachments. It's right here. See, it's ticked because the attachments, which if you remember, the curriculum vitae was there because we ticked on inline attachments. Okay, so well, this again is really helpful to have the important information right on your fingertips. Okay, so this was about it for the this new feature. The other one, for the relation, maybe I can just show you here. And as this is the CE, and here you go where you got the name and the description and the relations with the that he has, and it is inline. So the relation it will show in the first in the data card, in the first thing that you see when you open the data card. Okay, so going back to here, let's now see another very interesting feature. This is well, an extension of the show if function, which basically lets you dynamically hide and display an attribute in the editing of a data sheet. So now you can also make it editable or not, and also extremely interesting, it is to configure, which we did already, and I will show you via JavaScript, the automatic filling of a specific attribute based on, for example, on the value of other attributes during card editing. So let me just show you. Okay, so let's again go on internal employee, Mr. Anderson. If for example, Mr. Anderson is not behaving well, and we want to, and has been fired, of course I will have to go and change his state, which won't be active, but it will be not active. And you see automatically the end of the contract has been filled out with the date of today. Of course, you can change it if you wish, but automatically here we set it to be the date of today. Of course, again through a JavaScript code. So if I click on the question mark here, this tells me what this value should contain. In this case, of course, the maze must be greater than the start of the contract. Of course, it would be funny to fire someone before it actually start working for us. Anyway, so let's put it active again. Let's not fire Anderson for this time. Okay, so let me show you how you can do this from the administration. Sorry, from the administration module. So I will go on the classes, standard, yes, employee, again, internal. Oh, sorry, I was already here. Then I would go on attributes, the contract end. I got it here, and then I will, just to make it bigger, I will see it is now, of course it is active, but here you got the other properties. So you got the rules, the view rules, so what to do when it is not active anymore, and what to do with the auto value. So what the tool does, what CMDBuild does, when it comes to automatically filling out the value of a specific attribute. So in this case, there will be the date of the date when you select non-active. This is the help. This is just the small sentence that appears when you click on when we clicked on the question mark, and this is of course the validation, the validation rule. Okay, so, and this was it for this new feature, the automatic filling of the JavaScript, the automatic filling of the attributes, and also the view rules for the viewing rules. We'll just it's actually quite self-explaining. Okay, so let's go into the another new interesting, very interesting feature, which is the new menu, the menu item custom components in the administration module. Sorry, for managing custom components that can be used, for example, in context menus or in widgets, and so on. Okay, so let's go to Word. Let me show you, like workplaces, desktop, and here if you click on the contextual menu, you see that you could, well, there's two things you can do. You can enable the multi-selection and or print a QR code. In this case, of course, print the QR code is available for these cards, but you cannot click on it as I didn't select any. If I go, for example, on notebooks, you will see that the QR code is not available here because we didn't activate it for just for the demo. Of course, we didn't activate it for these cards. So let me just select, for example, Mr. Aaron Anderson. And now I can click on print QR code, and I'm able to print a PDF with a QR code. So you can print it and stick it to the back of Mr. Aaron Anderson with the related QR code. Of course, you can also, as I just was saying, do enable a multi-selection. So if you need to, let's say, need to print several QR codes at one time, you can just click in and you got the 2 QR codes right at right here. You are able to save it as a PDF, print it out, do whatever you want with it. Okay, so now let's see, of course, the parallel on the administration module. So if we go on the custom components right here and the context menu, you got a QR code generation. which is again, of course, as a custom components, as the name says it. And here we got the zip file, which contains the JavaScript code, thanks to which the QR code generator works. So let me just show you. If you go on just on class standard configuration, I'm hardware client hardware, and we go on computer, for example, and then we go on, sorry, then we go on computer, and then we go on like desktop, for example, and then we get properties, and then we go on modify, we scroll down in the context menu. Right here you see there's the print QR code is already activated. It's really easy to add it. If I delete it and I want to recreate it, I will just print QR code, for example, and then I will need to select the component, of course, and then this will be just applicability current and selected. It will be active, and I will just click on it, and then there we go. You got the QR code activated for the desktop, for example. Of course, in the, well, I just show you the internal employee classes, so where it was already activated. Of course, this takes the script, which has been already uploaded on, and then use it for this specific class. Okay, so last but not least, this is the new feature, which, well, it is not really new, but again, we worked hard on it to make it look better and be more functional, and it is the new feature called well, thematism. Okay, so now going into location, the new feature, well, basically lets you show some elements on the map according to different colors. According to different parameters, you will see them in different colors. So if for example we go on like on the location, rooms, and then you go on map, here you see, whoa, the Tecnoteca building. So let's select the Tecnoteca here, up the first floor, and this is selecting the first floor. If you want, I can zoom in, maybe, well, not too much, and I just click on the pencil right here, and this will create me a new thematism. So if I'm the name, I will just put, sorry, I will just click on destination of use. I will then select the geo attribute, so it will be the perimeter, of course, and the attribute will be use, the use as the destination of use. Of course, this generates the style rules, so I got the different colors for different values. I got like the warehouse, the laboratory, the toilet, different colors. In red, if I don't like red, I'm into dark colors, I will select black, whatever, but in this case I'm happy with red, so I will apply it, and I will see, of course, the new thematism. So in really quick and easy way, I can see which ones are the warehouses, which one is the laboratory, which one is the meeting room, the toilets, the offices, and so on. Really, in a really easy and quick way to do it. Okay, so if I go on admin, way to do it. Okay, so if I go on admin, let me close this and go in GIS, and for example here thematism, you see that it's ticked global, which means that this is available to all the users that log into CMDBuild, but of course otherwise, if it is not ticked, it is only available to those who create these thematism. So if, for example, if I go on workplaces and desktops, and then I click on the new thematism we created. Of course, this shows again but just with the Tecnoteca building, but with the desktop that we are currently using. And then click again on the pencil, and then the brands, which is a thematism that has been already that we already created. And in this case, we'll just show you in the purple, the Sony, HP, IBM, whatever, Apple, whatever. Of course, you can easily create your own without any. It's not gonna take you. It's gonna take you long at all. Okay, well, this. I think this is it for the new features of CMDBuild 3.1. I will now go back to my sitting, where we're just gonna talk a little bit more about what's coming up next here in Tecnoteca, and then we will be happy and ready to answer all the questions you might have. Okay, so here I am back. I hope everything was clear enough. I saw that some of you asked some questions, which is very good, which is definitely what we want. We really want you to take part in this webinar, and not just me speaking to you, but also having a feedback from you. So from your questions, we understand what could be improved or what could be explained in a better way. So thank you very much for this. So going on, let me just introduce to you with a few words CMDB ready to use and open main based on CMDBuild 3 core. Let me stress out that this is of course the first releases of both open main and CMDB ready to use that come out with based on the core CMDB 3.0. Again, we are going to have a specific webinar on CMDB ready to use 2.0 and as well as open main 2.0. All right, so well, the interface of CMDB ready to use 2.0 will just look like this. So it will definitely inherit all the new graphical elements of CMDB 3.0. And open main will do the same. So the new features of CMDB ready to use the version 2.0 is well, of course, I just said it. Let me repeat it once again, that it will be based on CMDB 3 core. It will have a new graphical interface. You just saw it, and it will have a control dashboards, new dashboards for the service desk operator. So these new dashboards, which are specifically, which we thought of them just for the service desk. So really, that team should be able to look at them and work with them. It will have a customized interface compared to the other CMDBuild pages. Then CMDB ready to use will feature an advanced new management of the SLAs. So for the control of the services, of the service desk processes. Actually, there was already one for managing the tickets and the delivery time of the ticket, when they're due, and if there's any if too long has passed by since it was supposed to be closed. We did do a new control method, which is way more structured and advanced, and also more complex, but of course more usable. The new problem management workflow is a workflow that we created from scratch, so it's brand new, and it completes with the other service desk processes, which is the incident, the request, the change management workflow. So now you got the problem management. The problem management workflow, sorry, is something that you would run when there's a recurrent problem. Where there's a single problem, then you would just open a ticket. But if there's a problem that has been occurring for several times, then in this case, you would run the problem management workflow. Then what we did, we worked on the asset management workflow, and we integrated that with the request fulfillment workflow. Also, we developed a new connector with the AWS, which goes which reads the info from the virtual machines which are installed on Amazon Web Service. Now, so this is a new connector. In addition to the previous ones, which of course was the Active Directory connector for the staff, the OCS inventory for the physical computers, the VMware vCenter for the virtual servers, the LLDPD for the discovery, the network discovery, and the Zabbix, the network and application monitoring connector. So these are the new features of CMDBuild ready to use for version 2.0, which you will be able to see just as you did today with the CMDBuild 3.1. You will be able to see all these new features with a specific webinar that we will hold on late of the that will be around the end of the summer. Okay, so going to OpenMain, the OpenMain 2.0, this is the interface. So again, the new interface, the one that comes from CMDBuild 3.0, the colors are switched. So the main page is, main interface is orange, and the other cards are blue. Which is just the opposite, of course, of CMDBuild ready to use. I'm not sure if I told you, but if I didn't, I do now. Please make sure to circle the end of this month on your calendar, because that's when CMDB ready to use and OpenMain are coming out, will be released. So you will have just all the whole summer just to look at it, work around with it, and then the webinar where we'll explain everything will come up. Will be live right after that. Okay, so new features of OpenMain 2.0. So of course, again, based on the CMDBuild 3 core, it will have a new graphical interface, as you just saw it. Then there will be a whole refactoring of the data model. This of OpenMain. Of course, this is because we wanted to have our CMDB ready to use and OpenMain closer together. We really wanted to, I'm not saying to make just one tool out of it, but we really wanted to make them close, because it does really happen that OpenMain, which is intended for the facility management and maintenance, OpenMain is often used in companies, for example, in IT companies. So those who wanted to manage their IT services and then their IT assets wanted to have a maintenance and asset management for the maintenance and the facility management tool together. So in order to do this, we had to restructure the whole data model of OpenMain in order to do this, to make them to be closer one to each other. Okay, so but of course we did other features. One of this is the control dashboard, which is a dashboard which is intended, I mean, to us is intended for the technical team. It is just a page where you got a view of all the elements in a graphical way, so very easy and to understand immediately. And you can have a view of all the tickets that are open and which are filtered, which can be filtered according to for example, the building or the kind of issue or a few other elements. In this dashboard, you also will have a Instagram with a service level agreement and a grid of the processes that are quite easily to filter. Then, new feature, management of the service level agreements. It is an advanced management for the control of the breakdown maintenance processes. So this is a completely new class where you configure the level of the SLAs. So for each level, you got a priority, which can be defined in a really strict, I would say, in a really powerful way. You can specify when you need this ticket to be taken in charge, when it needs to be executed, and when it needs to be closed, according either to the working times or to clock times. So if, for example, there is a ticket which is open at 5:45 p.m., and it is due to be executed and then within 2 working hours, then this will go for the day after. So we'll be taken in charge the day after, okay? Because according that you leave office at 6 p.m. But in the other case, if you specify that you want that ticket to be closed within 2 hours, no matter if it's a weekend, if it's Sunday, if it's holiday, if you are on the beach tanning, this needs to be done in 2 hours. And then so automatically it will put the end date, end hour after 2 hours of after its opening. Then you got a new checklist for the preventive maintenance, with which lets you have a quick view about all uh, of the maintenance elements that are going on with controls and measurings. And the outcome of this checklist will automatically update the asset statue. So last features. Well, the last one is that the new reports that are dedicated to the preventive maintenance. So this is just a report that will show the checklist, well, which is going to be just a grid with a calendar for the scheduling of each single activity, and a report for configuring the preventive maintenance. Um, I think this is about it for the Open Main 2.0 and the CMDB ready to use 2.0. So thank you very much, and hope to see you very soon. Thank you.